think this is splitting? Do we know yet?
Yeah, it's splitting. It's over 30. Alright, iRacing is live. Why is the host's scheduled broadcast for BNI on GSRC? I can hear myself on the broadcast, but we're not muted.
After falling short of last season's championship by a single point, and then missing this season's owner, England's Mark Usher made his return by posting back-to-back wins at the Ring and the Glen. In Usher's absence in round one, Spain's Victor Pareto won the season opener at Coda. But when the raw points are added up, it's not winning, but consistency that counts, as Germany's Mark Seiger leads all drivers thanks to a pair of 5th and 6th. For round 4, the action moves to the land of the rising sun. From Suzuka, it's the batteries not included 2019 Spring Season Championship, and you can see all the simulated Williams FW31 action from green flag to victory donuts live as it happens right here on the Global Sim Racing channel via the iRacing Esport Network. Konnichiwa, everyone. Up in the booth to bring you our words eye views, Stefan Slocker, joined by yours truly, Bill Soups On. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is our director, Sean Crackers Ambrose, armed with cameras locked and loaded by Dougie Beard. Stefan, I'm looking forward to this car track combination. Tell us a little bit about the origami pretzel Suzuka.
Also from me, Nihon kara konnichiwa. And not only you're looking forward to this combination, me too, Bill. The Suzuka International Racing Course is probably one of the most unique layouts for racetracks on this planet. Being shaped as an 8, it's one of the most recognized circuits in the world. However, first plans of the circuits were a bit different. The first plans didn't include one crossing, but a total of 3. Yeah, you heard right there. 3 crossings were planned with the track zigzagging around itself after the first few corners, with a complex of hairpin bends on the side of what is now the famous S's. The Land Suzuka Layson was bought in 1959. Racing started just 3 years later on this 3.6 mile long track. 17 turns mark today's version along with great old school challenges. And thus, let us talk you around the lap Suzuka with our GSRC lap guide.
Alright, we've got Clayton McLeod in the GSRC Williams, so let's do a lap around Suzuka. You won't be braking until you're well into turn 1, which bleeds directly into 2. That'll make passes into here somewhat difficult, if risky. Drivers will need to assess if it's worth getting chopped off when the car ahead didn't think that you were that foolhardy. After that, you're taken immediately into the S's, which requires very little in the way of brakes, but a whole lot of throttle modulation. Staying online and close to the car ahead will be a big challenge due to the aero wake. Finally, once you come out of there into Dunlop, you'll drift the car across the track and steel yourself for Degner 1. It takes supreme commitment to take it in here as fast as you can, and before you know it, you're braking hard for Degner 2, so a planted car will be critical. After going under the bridge, you've got the hairpin, which is a good opportunity to overtake. Just be careful that your opponent doesn't surprise you with a very late defense, because you'll probably run into each other. Gently finding the power to prevent wheel spin, the car now flies along towards Spoon. Shortening the run around this long sweeping right-hander is more important than trying not to scrub off speed. Plus, it sets you up for the braking into Spoon itself. Passes here are possible, but very tough. Honestly, setting up the exit is probably the wiser choice, because using the draft and a good launch will make it easier to pass on the backstretch. Unfortunately, it may wind up placing you in a game of chicken into 130R. While it's easily flat out in the Williams, it's still kinda sketchy to go through here too wide. If you can stay close to the car ahead, you get another chance to chuck it up the inside of the Casio triangle. But remember, you're traveling at a high rate of knots, so you could wind up locking up the brakes and overshooting it. Once again, a sensitive right foot will come in handy as you accelerate onto the front stretch. But hopefully, you've kept it all together and have now finished a lap around Suzuka.
Joe Peak doing what he does, talking and taking the viewers around a lap of a road course. This time it is Suzuka. All right, let's take a lap around the point standings now. As talked about in the opening, he has a 5th, and a 6th, and we're talking about Thomas Seeger. He sits at the top of the charts with 472 points, well ahead of the Spanish driver of Xavi Ross, who's 34 points back, another Spaniard of Kevin Jimenez behind him. Now, there's Mark Usher. He has 2 wins and a no-show. When drop races start to be accounted for, look for him to jump well to the top of the standings. And then you have Tommy and Holo, who had a rough time out last time, 108 points back to round out your top 5. Let's quickly take a look at our race details. Steph?
Well, round 4 of 12 here today at Suzuka. 4 drop weeks will be accounted in total, so Mark Usher really is in a very good here. Race length today, 35 laps, and as always, 1 pit stop will be required to make it the full distance on fuel. Setups are completely open, and you really need to tinker away on these cars to make them perfect for your driving style. Incident cap standard for iRacing, 17 incidents, and you're on the bench. Points they're using for the BNI, the official iRacing points, added up to their championship. And as always, this is making things a bit more interesting than your normal style of points.
Quickly looking over some of the names on the entry list, I can tell you that Mark Usher did not sign up for this event, so he's going to have to use a second drop week. Our second place driver in the points, Xavi Ross, is here, as is our points leaders, Thomas Seeger. Going through a minute, our third place driver, Jimenez, is also here, racing out of Spain. So it should be a good event. It did split, so our field is going to be relatively small, as qualifying is going on right now. Xavi Ross sitting at the top. Well, not anymore.
Yeah, Poveda just went P1. What is that? That's about 3/10 faster than Xavi Ross, so that's quite an interesting part. And you're saying it's quite a small, yes, for what we normally see on GSRC or ICE, and it's a bit small, but for F1 racing, you know, in F1 you have 20, here we have 16 cars, so it's not that small for F1 racing.
Antonio Poveda was really strong. In one of his events, he had a mistake that cost him, well, he finished last, I believe. He had an early mistake, but he was on the pole, so look for him to be good today as well.
Well, I just want to queue up Stewie White, but he made a big mistake out of spoon, spun the car, didn't hit anything, so his first lap will not count, and this is gonna put a lot of pressure on his second lap in his beautiful white livery.
There's Daniel Benefield racing out of Australia. His first lap was good enough to put him in third. Look at him now as he works through the final corner, coming to put in a lap here on the second lap. Let's see if he can better his time of a 1:30 point. Well, he does. 1:30.5. He moves up a spot as Xavi Ross has shot to the pole since we've been talking last. Here's Noel.
Ordis Poveda just came over the line. He did improve, but only by literally just 1/2 tenth. So Xavi Ross right now 3 tenths ahead of Poveda.
Noel sits in 10th position, put in a 1:31.4. Was not able to improve that as he comes across the line. He remains there. Now we're looking at the guy that I think is going to be a real threat, Antonio Ortiz Poveda. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood our director. We have Almeida on screen.
To be fair, I was also misunderstanding him. Poveda and Almeida aren't too far away. And that first name, I'm gonna go with Kase Almeida.
I think Kase is it.
Interesting first name there. Race is out of Florida, so that also doesn't really help with the pronunciation there. As Stu White comes around for his second lap. This time, no mistake. What can he do? A 30.7 shoots up to 5th place.
Yeah, he had put in a lap, but it didn't qualify the first time. That didn't count as he had an off, so now he sits in that 5th position. 17 drivers have put in time. The only driver not Ian Ash.
And Ian Ash isn't even on the road right now as we take it on board with Tanner McCullough. He's already done with his qualifying. 34.204 is to his name. That's last by about 2 seconds. So playing the Williams of this field.
Well, we have time before we go to the grid. Let's take a quick look at the weather. You can see that the sky is clear. I think we're going to have a nice day for racing.
I wouldn't call that nice with 106 Fahrenheit on the track. 69 Fahrenheit in the air as Yuri said, clear sky. Winds shouldn't be too much of a problem. Northeast 5 miles per hour, quite steady in that direction. Time, by the way, virtual standard time, 13 o'clock or 1 p.m. for you out there. So yeah, track, I'm pretty sure this will get quite a bit hotter once we go into the race.
Just goes to show you how much the overcast skies or the cloud cover affects the temperature of the track. 69 degrees Fahrenheit is a relatively cool day, but with a clear sky like that, the sun beating down unimpeded really heats up the tarmac. All right, that's the end of qualifying. Let's go to the grid. Zabi Ross and Antonio Poveda make up row number 1. Daniel Benfield is going to be inside of Tommy Unhola. Good to see Tommy back with us here. Stewie White and Thomas Seeger make up row 3. Flores Bashar and Kevin Jimenez is 7th and 8th. 9th and 10th go to Daniel Sanfilippo and his brother Marco Sanfilippo. 7th.
11th goes to the number 1 of Kaze Almeida. 12th will be the 11th car of Thomas Nosso. 111 lineup there. Christian Cabana is in 12th with his number 5 car. That's 13th. Aaron Woodstra 14th. Lars Hunk 15th. Bruno Canovas in 16th. Adam McCullough 17th. And Ian Nash not putting out a qualifying time down in 18th.
Should be a good one today. Wait for all the drivers to take their spots as we work round number 4 here of the batteries not included 2019 Spring Season Championship. Coming your way on the Global Sim Racing channel via the iRacing Esports Network. You know, not only many private leagues like this one, but the best of the best in the iRacing series are spotlighted right here on the iRacing Esports Network. Become a member. Subscribe now. GSRC is proud to be part of the stable of broadcasters.
I'll tell you something. Times are really close. Top 10 are separated by 4 seconds, so I think we're not going to see anyone running away with this early on in the race.
Still waiting for everybody to take their spot. Now we got a full field. Engines start to harmonize. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the calves. The horses are out of the barn. Javi Ross out in front. He is being challenged by Antonio Poveda. He does not. Making a move on the outside, though. Benefield is going to get 3rd position. Unhola side by side with him. That has yet to be decided. Flores Bashar back in 5th. Unhola continues to race side by side. And finally, Benefield is able to get in front and close the door. Benefield gets 3rd.
Yeah, Benefield, they're able to defend his position quite well as Noel and Almeida are side by side. Never mind Almeida getting back out there as they go for the first time into the tricky Degner corners.
Back half of your top 10. Stewie White, Kevin Jimenez, Thomas Seeger, Danilo Sanfilippo, and Marco Sanfilippo.
Yeah, not a lot of position changes there, except for Flores Bizar, who did pick up a little bit. Same with Kevin Jimenez, who are both picking up some positions. And apart from that, and Thomas Seeger losing quite a few positions, not all that much of shuffling around in the first lap.
Everybody makes it through Spoon okay. Now they get down to the tricky 130R, and they just fly through that without a problem into the final chicane. Right.
Danilo Sanfilippo just got past Thomas Seeger before 130R, so he's now up to, I think that should be 7th? No, 8th.
I think he works his way up to 8th. Yeah, he gets around as Thomas Seeger now back into 9th spot. Looking up here at a battle for 4th position. This is Tommy and Coleman ahead of Flores Bashar.
I'm sorry, I'm watching Seeger versus Sanfilippo. Marco Sanfilippo, and Marco Sanfilippo just gave a bit of a nudge to Seeger through the S's there. Quite a bit of a contact there between the two. Actually moved Seeger's car around a little bit, but it seems like nobody got any damage from that. And here he goes to the inside. What a dive! He can't hold the line at all, and he gets spun around.
Could not. He tried to get in front, almost like a slide job on Seeger. Seeger had nowhere to go, and Marco Sanfilippo goes around. Let's take a look at this again.
Yeah, you pretty much analyzed that perfectly there already. Sanfilippo just too late on the brake with that dive bomb. And yeah, can't keep this in line. Slides out and Seeger nowhere to go. Rear ends him and spins him out.
Since that replay, Thomas Knoll was able to get around Seeger. Seeger really off pace right now as he's the cork in the bottle. Christian Kabanka behind him. Bruno Caneves coming. Here comes another
There's
pass.
a lot of fighting.
There goes Kabanka.
Lots of fighting here all over the place behind this 10th place, and Seeger has quite a bit of wing damage there on his right front. Obviously, that is slowing him down quite a lot here in these corners, backing everyone up and leading to quite some fighting for these positions.
Remember, he is your raw points leader. Now this is interesting. Remember, Unhola was in this battle with Bashar, and Hola was able to pull away, and that lets Bashar fall back into the clutches now of Stewie White in the appropriately colored white car, as he's going to take a peek as they work to the inside of Stewie. He's going to have to wait, watching the whole thing from what we call the popcorn position, Kevin Jimenez.
And while this is going on, Seeger just lost another position to Canovas. Through the spoon, he's dropping positions like a rock, now under pressure of Elton Woodster, who's gonna get past before 130R.
And there we saw Stewie White making that pass on Bashar. He had to really go wide through 130R to get that done. White moves up into 5th. Bashar falls back a spot. After qualifying in 7th position, Bashar now racing in 6th. Oh, and there goes Bashar and White get together.
And these are directly towing his car there with the damage to him.
Yeah, my screen, it's a little bit of netcode, a little bit of a punt here. This is Bashar. He doesn't get into him on my screen. But again, netcode exists. You have to race with that in mind.
And that in my case, that was about a car length of netcode there between the two. So, very unfortunate. And Thomas Seeger saw him pitting, so he is now pitting. Seeger did pit while this was going on, so he linked himself out of that, got that damage repaired, as we are on the camera still with Xagras.
Being chased by Benfield and Poveda now. Dropping back a little bit to this battle for 9th position. Both these drivers were able to get around Seeger. This is Bruno Caneves and Aaron Woodstruck.
Oh, and Dana McCullough just made a pass on Almeida for 13th through the chicane.
That's a fun one. We're going to take a look at that one because it really was a bit of a mess back there.
Actually started already at 130R there. He made the pass there, and then Almeida coming back on the outside on the runoff area of the 130R there, and actually touched him there, as you will see now on your replay. There he goes, way off track, probably some aero push there. Doesn't back out of the throttle, nearly rear ends Tanner here. And then out of the chicane, because Tanner was so wide, had to take the weird line and got back in front.
One of the drivers in that mix is Stewie White, who had issues, remember, was racing up front. He is falling back up with his spin.
I'm currently checking if he has some damage, and I have to see on the very back of his car on the diffuser. Yeah, the diffuser is a bit bent here, so he has some diffuser damage. That's gonna slow him a little bit down. But apart from that, his car is pretty much pristine.
Let's jump up to second position now. Daniel Benefield made his way around Antonio Pavetta, and Pavetta has been working to get that spot back. He was really close as they go down into the first corner. Let's stay on this for a bit because Pavetta has really been hungry.
Oh, and who is that there? Spun out. I'm sorry, someone spun out. That was Erwin Woodstra spun out in the chicane. So he is down now to 13th from 10th.
That was a battle we were watching earlier with him and Bruno Canovas. Canovas now does not have to worry as much. Pavetta now, as we look at this, not able to put the pressure on as he is about 12 car lengths behind Benefield. All these guys racing about a second behind Xavi Ross. Oh, and making a mistake is Tommy Anhola. That's going to allow Kevin Jimenez to go around and pick up 4th position.
And guess where it was? Wegner strikes again. He was on the curb while braking, and because of that, slid on the grass and went behind, not being able to brake wide enough for Wegner too. And Jimenez just gets past around the inside.
So we look now at Jimenez in 4th. He is up 4 spots before he qualified. Racing, though, about 7 seconds behind the driver in 3rd, Antonio Pavetta. He's got some work to do, but I think he's quick.
Oh, sorry, Stewie White just tagged Tanner McCullough into the chicane. Tanner McCullough spun around, quite some damage to his car there.
White was optimistic on this move, put it kindly.
There you can see from how far he comes there. Tags color on the right rear and the front wing. And McCullough having quite some issues with understeering right now through the S's.
Both those drivers have had previous issues, so their troubles continue. That was a nice shot from above. And there is McCullough now. Well down the order.
Meanwhile, that was going on. Almeida made his pit stop, so I think he is good to go till the end. As he spins out of turn 1 and hits the wall right out of pit lane.
Loops it around, noses it into the inside.
Quite a common mistake for Formula 1 cars out of pit lane through turn 1. They're quite likely to spin through there, as Almeida perfectly showed the trickiness of F1s on cold tires.
So he'll have some work to do for the Floridian. Alright, we continue to look back here at Anhola now, who is in 5th position. He is being chased now by Danilo Sanfilippo. And Thomas Knoll is back there as well.
Interestingly enough, Anhola not that fast right now in this portion of the race. He's really backing up Sanfilippo, who is getting run up by Thomas Knoll, and both of them have to make some overtakes here quickly, otherwise they're gonna lose Kevin Jimenez up in front for 4th position.
Yeah, we saw the mistake from Anhola that led Jimenez to get around, and now Jimenez, since that has happened, has pulled away almost 2 seconds up on Anhola as we ride on board with Thomas Knoll up 5 spots in 7th, chasing Sanfilippo. And he's got him in the tow. He's too far back maybe to make a stab at. Let's see if he forces the issue down into the chicane. He will not. One of the closest battles on the track right now. Danilo Sanfilippo up 3 spots, being chased by Thomas Knoll. up 5. Big names that have had issues. Flores Bashar and Thomas Seeger is out.
Quick notice for our Twitch friends. Tanner McCullough made a mistake in the hairpin and did tow his car, so he's out of the race.
And let me just correct myself on this one. As we look at the battles for 5th position, Thomas Seeger is still racing. He is back in 15th spot, last car out on the track. As Almeida comes out in 16th position, so he's now the last car out on the track. We continue to look at this battle for 5th. Both these drivers losing touch. Anhola losing touch with Jimenez, who has driven away.
Well, this is going on. I can report. We don't need to go there. Daniel Benefield, he's starting to close in ever so slightly on Xavier Ross last lap 310. They're now within 7/10 of the lead.
Benefield actually closer to the lead than
Oh, Nola spun!
Poveda Ketchum. Uh-oh.
Too hard over the inside curbs, spins it out because of that.
Does not get the wall. By the time he cycles out into 9th position. Into the Casio triangle here.
Yeah, just on the first apex, too hard over the curbs. On the throttle, spins it out, doesn't hit anything. Spins it around and then he gets super close with, who was that? That was Bruno Canovas, yeah. Sorry.
Bruno Canovas in the number 9 car. We'll take a look at this one. Whoa! Bruno now vultures that spot up into 8th position.
Now, the thing here is Anhola. Oh, he spins again!
Right in front of Stewie White and Marco Sanfilippo. Everybody goes by.
Very Anhola-like there. But what I wanted to say, Anhola, he was very lucky to not hit Canovas there. Because of his dirty tires on the throttle, he spun it out to the right side, thus avoiding Canovas. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure they would have collided.
So Tommy all the way back to 14th now.
Oh, and the battle for first is on. Daniel Benefield just tried to make the first move into turn 1.
He has been closing little by little. We documented it, and now he is there. His first attack did not work. He falls back a bit.
Yeah, and that was quite a good defense by Xavier Ross to actually hold his line around the outside of Degner. Now, very around the outside of Degner. Xavier Ross around the outside of turn 1 was able to hold his spot. There's a very good driving by Xavier Ross. But I think he can start to feel the pressure of the faster Daniel Benefield behind him.
You know, Stefan, I think Benefield, both and Poveda are faster than our leader right now, as Poveda has closed up as well. Lars Hung from racing in 14th position just had a spin.
Oh, and Stewie White also just spun out of the battle for P8.
Lots of action. And look at Stewie White, who was farther up in the order. We'll take a peek at this one.
Most action is spinning action. Probably listened a bit too much to you spin me right around. As Daniel Benefield just overtook Xavier Ross for the lead.
We're going to have to look at this one as Ross, as this happened during replay. They both get him. First pass was done through the chicane. And then because Xavier Ross lost all of his momentum, that allowed Antonio Poveda to get the pass as well. We'll take a look at this one more time. Now here it is. There goes Benefield around the outside. Now look how Ross loses momentum. And that lets Poveda capitalize down the main straight to get that pass done as well. So in the blink of an eye, our leader falls back into third.
Now, one thing I wonder is if there was a little bit of team order in play, because Ross and Poveda are teammates. So it looked like Ross did lift a little bit into turn 1 to let his teammate go past and chase after Benefield.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Poveda is on the tail of Benefield. He is there, only 2 car lengths back. Ross doing his very best to hang with those Geivers, as now the front 3 are nose to tail. Oh, and a spin from Poveda! And there goes Ross up into second. Poveda gets it going, will only lose that 1 spot.
Poveda a bit too hungry on the curbs there, spins it actually out on the curb. So a bit of a driver error there, just too wide into the first part of the Cassie triangle, and a little bit too far to the inside for the left-hander because of that, and just spins it out on the spot.
Interesting to see if he can run down those 2 guys now.
Oh, and
let's go to Canavas. Gets in an incident with Marco Sanfilippo. I believe this is pretty recent. Nope, I guess it was a wise bet. We're not going to be able to get that one.
Yeah, it was already in the spoon, and it was actually Canavas just spinning out, and Sanfilippo not being able to avoid it. Was also a little bit of a net code between the two. One thing. As we
position.
Just want to say this real quick as we go to this battle here for P10. Antonio Ortiz Poveda, he actually made a mistake out of the S's and yet again out of spoon. So he's really struggling with his tires right now after that spin. So I'm starting to think if Antonio just felt a little bit too much pressure trying to chase down Daniel Benefield and has to pay the price right now.
Interval between Ross and Poveda, 4.5 seconds. That's between second and third. As we continue now, we'll go up to Ross.
Poveda once again spinning tires out of the Cassie triangle. So he's really losing tire wear and tire life. And once again, a slide through turn 1. So he really has some problems with his tire management right now, as he's losing more and more time to Xavier Ross and Daniel Benefield.
Even though, Stefan, many of the instances we've seen are the cars getting up on the curbs, you almost have to think that the track temperature is playing a factor here, and the guys are having trouble hitting their apexes.
Oh yeah, for sure. 105 Fahrenheit. Xavier Ross made a mistake. Another mistake by Xavier Ross out of Degner. 2 serves on the curb, hits the inside barrier quite hard.
He comes out in second, but boy, the car really took a hit. I don't think he's going to be able to hang on to this one as we look at Ross right now under attack, and there he goes wide. That's just because the front wing is gone.
Yeah, and to conclude that point, what we were talking about, the tire temperature is gonna be sky high here because of how much temperature we have on the track, and the tires are really gonna suffer through this race. Even though you're gonna change them midway through, you're really gonna feel those tires lose a lot of grip, especially in the latter stages of your stint, as Xavier Ross goes into pit lane.
It is in the window, so he's going to come in and see if he can get that nose repaired. Luckily, that happens in the window here. It's a fairly large window. He should be able to go from here to the end without another stop.
I wouldn't be surprised if Almeida, who is right now in 15th position, if he's also able to go to the end. He pitted 7 laps ago, as we have it on screen. Pretty sure he can also go to the end, but we might have to keep an eye on him.
Ross gets that stop made. A preliminary look at his nose. It looks like it's better now, as he sorts out He was leading. He slots out in 13th, but of course everyone that's in front of him still needs to make a stop. So, when all the excitement is said and done, Daniel Benefield is our leader by 6.4 seconds, thanks to Baveda and Ross making multiple mistakes. And I think we really need to give a shout out to the driver in third. He's had a quiet race. Kevin Jimenez just racing, just keeping the car on the track, sitting in a podium spot right now. And how about Thomas Knoll doing the same?
Yeah, but Thomas Knoll is catching Kevin Jimenez quite a bit. Last lap, 6/10 in favor of Thomas Knoll, so he's really reeling that big fish in quite fast.
Jimenez started the race behind big names like Thomas Seeger. Well, he got him.
Oh, and Ian Ash spun out of the Casio triangle. Actually, through the last turn, nearly hit the pit lane divider there. Very lucky break in an unfortunate incident there for Ian Ash.
And about the same time that that happened, as we look at this replay, Xavi Ross spun it. He gets the car back out. And it looked very much like that. Okay, we'll see if we can see Ross catch his mistake here. That was he did that in spoon. We might be too far up. So the problem is, we were watching Ross because he had a legitimate shot to be farther up. Remember, he's racing all the other drivers ahead of him right now. So every mistake he makes is going to cost him position.
And one thing I can report, Stewie White did retire his car after yet another mistake through Dagner 2. It already happened last lap, so no chance we can go there. He just surfed it up on the curb, went to the gravel and stopped it right there and, yeah, went out of the race.
All right, now here's a nice battle going on. This is Christian Cabanca being chased by Marco Sanfilippo. For all you little soldiers in Soup's Clipboard Army, what I want you to watch out for is where Kevin Jimenez and Thomas Knoll slot out in relationship to Xavi Ross. Ross pitted ahead of him. These guys are in a battle for third right now. The reason I point this out, Ross pitted, he was ahead of him when he pitted, but now he's had a spin. I can give you the interval between the two if my timing and scoring will allow me to do such a thing. Xavi Ross is about 37 seconds behind Jimenez, who's racing in third right now. So I think that's going to be a close one.
Yeah, I don't remember what the pit lane delta here is, but I think it's quite a bit over 30 seconds, so it might get really close between them.
Coming right at you, that's a nice shot. Thank you, Dougie Beard, for what you do.
And Marco Sanfilippo is right now side by side with Cabanca here through 130 yard. Actually, Cabanca lift. So Marco Sanfilippo up to 6th position now with a great overtake.
Move him up into that 6th position right behind his brother now. Marco in 6th. Danilo in 5th. Here comes our driver who was racing in 10th position, coming in, Bruno Canovis. Now back to Marco Sanfilippo, we're right off his tail, looking back at Cabanca. Report that Xavi Ross was able to get around Cabanca, so Ross continues to be the leader of all the cars who have pitted.
So, one thing I have to say, I think I just realized from where the San Filippo guys are. And that is because of their livery they're racing. And I'm pretty sure that's Palermo that they're from because of the bird and the pink they're running on their livery.
Okay.
Because I remember that the football club of Palermo once did play in pink jerseys, and that's where I remember that color and bird from, as Jimenez and Knoll are both pitting.
They come in together.
Also,
Let's
the
see.
San Filippos are pitting.
Ross is just out of spoon right now. That's the guy they're going to try to get out in front of. I think they should be able to do it.
Both are now on their spot. Thomas Knoll off the checks right now. Same with Jimenez. Where's Ross?
Just getting through the chicane right now.
And they're far ahead as they're already off the pit limiter and away into turn 1.
And Ross just going across the start-finish line. So sure enough, the little spin that Ross had that we didn't catch cost him those 2 positions.
Oh, and he
Look
nearly
at-
spun it. That was very lucky. Xavi Ross nearly spun out of turn 1 there. Very sideways, had to lock all 4 tires to not spin out. And he's about 5 seconds between Knoll and Ross.
As we look at Xavi Ross, cone-to-cone times for Jimenez and Knoll were identical, but you wouldn't know it from looking out on the track, as Jimenez has opened up quite a lead on Thomas Knoll, who was right behind him before the pit stop. The top 8 drivers still to come in. And of course, they're led by Daniel Benefield that we look at right now. Almost a 6-second lead over Poveda.
You said it that the cone-to-cone times are the same, but the stop times, it's 4/10 in favor of Knoll. So he was quite a lot slower in and out of his pit stall than Kevin Jimenez. So, yeah, Thomas Knoll, he might have been way closer to Jimenez right now without those slower times from the cone-to-cone.
Erwin Woodster pits from 3rd position. He will be overtaken by many cars. Let's see where he slots out. Looks like it's going to be about 9th. Is he going to get out in front of Marco Sanfilippo? Nope. Marco goes by, so Woodster comes out in the final top 10 spot. Four cars yet to pit. Benefield, Poveda, Anhola, and Ash.
As Poveda just went into pit lanes, pitting from 2nd place, so he's putting a little bit of pressure with the undercut on Daniel Benefield. Slowly
Leader of all the
going
cars who
towards-
have pitted, yeah. Jimenez just getting into Spood now. Kevin will have no chance to get out before Poveda, unless Poveda makes a mistake in here, misses his box, or gets a speeding penalty. And now he rolls comfortably ahead of Jimenez, who is just getting to the chicane right now. But that good stop does put the pressure on Daniel Benefield now. He'll need to make a good one.
Poveda even pitted out in front of Tommy Anhola, so didn't even lose a single position on track with that pit stop.
Benefield now with a 38-second lead. Back to Poveda. Of course, Poveda just made his stop. Through the chicane. Could be pit stop time right now. Let's see if our leader brings it in. Yep.
There it is. That probably means that is the last possible lap to pit in. Lap 21 right here. So, yeah, he will have about 13-14 laps to go on his pit cycle here.
Only 2 drivers yet to pit, Unhola and Ash. They'll be coming in this time. Field comes down off the jacks and rolls. Preveda now just getting to the chicane. He will not have a chance to get there, but he will be in shouting distance.
Very interesting, though, are the pit stop times for Poveda versus Benefield. Benefield a full 9/10 faster on this stop, and in total 4/10 faster through the pit lane from cone to cone.
And Tommy Unhola, who started with such high hopes, comes in to make his stop. He worked his way all the way up to 3rd, but he will cycle well down the order now. Which means that Ian Ash is the last driver to pit, and he's got half a lap to go till it's time for him. He races in 4th.
Interesting that Ian Ash is able to go even a lap longer than Unhola and Benefield. So Benefield opted for the covering Poveda rather than going all the way with his fuel.
And as soon as Ian Ash makes his stop, that'll complete the pit cycle, and we'll run through the field for you. But we'll wait a bit. We'll watch Ian. Started in 18th spot.
I
Racing
can
now in
report
3rd.
it just happened. Daniel Sanfilippo, he let Marco Sanfilippo past him, who is the faster driver of the 2. So now Marco Sanfilippo will try to chase down Xavier Ross ahead of him.
Ross with about a 4-second gap to Marco.
Ian Ash another lap around the pit entrance, so he's going another lap. That's already lap 23 of his stint here.
And Kevin Jimenez. Right just happened. As Thomas Knoll is going to get this position. Jimenez racing from what really would be 3rd position once Ian Ash makes his stop. Spins the car. Take a look at this.
Without any pressure, he was slightly getting away from Thomas Knoll lap per lap. Just a bit too wide into turn 1, goes on the curb, and then there's quite a bit of AstroTurf out there, and he spins it out on that slippery AstroTurf, losing that position to Thomas Knoll. He also lost the position to Xavier Ross because of that spin. So he's now down to 6th position.
Right, we talked about Marco Sanfilippo trying to run down Ross. Well, now he doesn't have to go quite so far as Jimenez, in fact. We look at this now. I have a hunch Jimenez is faster than Ross right now, even after that spin.
And I can report Ian Ash finally dives into pit lane, so 23 laps is as far as he can go with his fuel.
And as soon as he brings it back out on track, we'll give you a rundown of all the drivers. 13 of them still on the lead lap. We'll see if the drivers will cooperate. We'll do that in just a minute. We're going to stay on this one here because I really think Kevin Jimenez is going to get this pass made on Xavier Ross here pretty quick.
I don't know, it feels like Xavier Ross has some underfloor damage because he's losing even to Sanfilippo about 1.5 seconds per lap. So he's really struggling with the pace of his car right now down here in 5th. So it probably won't take long for Kevin Jimenez to finally get past Xavier Ross, and then it will be the turn already of Marco Sanfilippo to get past the Spaniard.
Back in 9th position, this is Christian Kabaka and Tommy Unhola. Unhola gridded in 4th position. He probably has the pace to be able to get to the long here pretty quick. So we'll keep an eye on this one. We'll also keep an eye on the Ross and Manus battle. This one is much closer than the one we're watching right now with Unhola. This will be a good time to get him down the backstretch as they head down to 130R. Starts to gobble him up. 2 car lengths back. 1 car length back through 130R. Loses a little time there. Not going to be able to get him before the chicane. If he can get a good drive out of here, let's see if he makes the pass down the front straight. He's in real good shape. He's got him if he wants him. Half a car length back. Protecting the inside is Kabanka. Unhola goes to the outside. Kabanka to make him go around the wide way. Cannot get it done. Some good defensive racing as they go through corner number 1 now. Kabanka down the main straight. Put that car as far to track right as possible. You are not going to get to the inside of me, Tommy Unhola.
Interestingly enough, I think Unhola is running a bit more downforce than Kabanka because he really did stall out on that front stretch once he went out of the draft of the car ahead.
I agree. He had the run and then the car just didn't go. Let's stay on this a bit more as he is a car length back. Now, right now, he should be able to gobble him up. Starts to look to the inside as they work through 12. Now down into Spoon. He'll be on the outside. Let's see if he can make it stick. Get some momentum. See if he can get a drive off here. He's closer than he was last time in this position. Now he goes to the inside. Let's see if the car has any straight line speed. They are side by side as they head down into 130R. Look at the other cars. Kabanka pulls by, they touch. Kabanka goes off. They get it sorted out. I think everybody's okay. Unhola will get the position. Whew, that was tough.
They locked tires a little bit, Kabanka and Unhola did. Great save by Kabanka though to not lose that car completely. But he loses that position. Up ahead, nothing changed yet between Jimenez and Ross. Jimenez made a small mistake last lap, lost the rear of Xavi Ross.
So, as promised, with 10 to go, let's give you the rundown here. We'll do them in sets of 3. I'll take the podium positions. We'll start with Daniel Benefield. He started in 3rd spot. He's made his way to the lead. He's got 6-second lead over his nearest rival, and that is Antonio Poveda. Poveda, racing in 2nd, has 25 seconds back to the driver who has been clean the entire race. He's maybe not the fastest car out on the track, but he's doing a good job of not making any mistakes. I'm talking about Thomas Knoll. Many a big name were sprinted ahead of him. He has managed to pass them all and wave at them as they were in the grass. Knoll in 3rd. All right, let's go over to Stefan. He'll give you the next 3.
Xavi Ross, one of the big names. Thomas Knoll did overtake. He started in 1st, ran into some problems. He's right now 4th position, about 4.5 seconds behind Thomas Knoll. Just a few tenths behind him, though, is Kevin Jimenez, who started in 8th up to 5th place. Right now, 9 tenths between Ross and Jimenez. So Jimenez, he is still going strong, and he is really looking to take that 4th place away. Behind him, though, Marco Sanfilippo starting in 10th. He is 6th, and he is looking faster than both Jimenez and Ross at this stage of the race. Also, just a few tenths behind the 2 Spanish cars ahead of him. So Marco Sanfilippo mark him down for the last remaining laps of this motor race.
Then in 7th, they have Ern Woodstra. He's looking at those 2 cars that are battling ahead of Jimenez and Sanfilippo, and I'll be darned if Woodstra might not be able to get in this mix as well. Woodstra already got around Danilo Sanfilippo, who is back in 8th. Sanfilippo let the other Sanfilippo go by, and then Woodstra got him as well. Back in 9th, Tommy Unhola. He's got about 5 seconds to get up to Woodstra, Sanfilippo in front of him. Who you got in 10th?
Christian Kapanka is your car in 10th place, starting in 13th. He is just about 2 seconds behind Unhola. Ash Ian Ash is in 11th place. He started in 18th, didn't qualify though. He is about 4 seconds behind the number 5 car of Cabanca. And Bruno Canovas right now in 12th position. He gained himself 4 positions from 16th. He's about 1 minute and 10 behind your leader. So Danny Benefield not all too far away from the back of Canovas.
The last car on the lead lap started in 6th. He is our raw points leader, Thomas Seeger. Let's go back up. Let's get to this battle now. It's Jimenez trying to hold off Sanfilippo, and I think Jimenez is the slower of the cars because here comes Aaron Woodstra as well. This is going to be a good battle. They're not that far behind Xavi Ross, and I think if Sanfilippo can get around Jimenez here in short order, he's got a shot to get up to Ross.
And I'm gonna be honest, I think Kevin Jimenez's tires are hurting from that spin because he's losing quite a lot of time to Ross, Sanfilippo, and as you mentioned, R1 Woodstra is also already at the back of Sanfilippo. And he's actually getting super close to Sanfilippo.
Sanfilippo was really loose coming out of the hairpin. He got a hard drive down into 12 and down into Spoon. So now here comes Woodruff. He is 2 car lengths back. Let's see what type of straight line speed he has. It looks pretty good. He's 1 car length back. If he doesn't want to get him this lap, he knows he might have a shot at him next lap. They head towards the chicane. If he can get a good drive out of the chicane, boy, he's right there and he loses it. Not too close. Puts it in the wall. Going to lose a position going around. That is Danilo Sanfilippo as Woodstra finally gets the car back out on the track. Stefan, I think he surprised himself how close he got to the back of Marco.
Yeah, it does look so as we are going down the backstretch right now into 130. Are riding on board with Aaron Woodstra. And it really does look like he was a bit surprised how close he got to that and then just a little bit overexcited, spins it out, hits the wall with the left front side of his wing. Picked up quite a bit of damage, so he might have to pit in for a replacement of the front wing.
So once again, another battle decided not on the track, but by the walls. So now we got this battle between Jimenez and Sanfilippo with Woodstra out of the mix now. They're only about a half second behind. Well, no, they're 2.3 seconds behind Xavi Ross. Ross seems to have it gathered up.
Yeah, and Xavi Ross is fast and Thomas Null right now. Not by much, only a few hundred as Thomas Null nearly spins it out of the Casio triangle. Losing quite a bit of time now to Xavi Ross, who is now just 2.5 seconds behind Thomas Null.
Yeah, Noel, actually, the car got so loose, pretty much parked on the exit of the triangle. Finally got it going.
Actually, timing updated, it's now 1.1 seconds between Null and Ross, so that 3rd place is not in the draw yet, as we take it on board with Thomas Null to show you that mistake from him. So the German showing a little bit of nose there.
Goes through here, and the car gets loose, and whoop! And he gathers it up. But that, like you said, that is now 1 second back to Xavi Ross. We talked about Noel maybe not being the fastest car out there, but he has been perfect. That's what allowed him to go from 12th to 3rd. But that mistake now brings him into the clutches of the driver who qualified on pole.
Actually, I stay corrected. Thomas Null is Austrian. Racing from Vienna on Suzuka right now, under pressure from the Spaniard of Xavi Ross. And if he isn't careful, Xavi Ross can go past him in just a heartbeat.
Back at Marco Sanfilippo working on the back of Kevin Jimenez, the Spaniard. Marco Sanfilippo fended off the attack from Aaron Woodstra, who had a spin. Worked her ways around the other Sanfilippo, and now would like to get Jimenez to get into the top 5. 2 battles we're keeping an eye on. This one for 5th, and then the battle for 3rd as Xavi Ross continues to close in on Noel.
And if anything happens between one of the battles that isn't on the screen, we'll shoot you directly over to that. You won't miss a single moment of the action between those 2 battles.
They're both relatively close on the track. The interval between Ross and Jimenez is only about 3 seconds, so they're right close to each other. To the point where if Noel or Ross were to make a mistake, they would certainly lose spots to Jimenez and Sanfilippo. All this going on, 32 seconds behind Antonio Poveda in 2nd. Uh-oh, is Benefield... No, sorry, I scared myself there for a minute. I thought Benefield was in the pit lane. Hey, just add a little drama. Sorry, folks.
Yeah, Benefield, his lead is 6.3 seconds to Ortiz Poveda, so pretty much Sunday Cruz right now can take a little bit out of the pace himself, and he is still gonna win this race quite comfortably ahead of Antonio Ortiz Poveda.
This is Kavanka in a little bit of a battle.
Oh, I'm sorry, Woodstra spun out of the Kasi triangle. Just happened right now, didn't hit anything, very close to the wall though. As that battle just passed him.
Right, he loses those 2 spots to that battle of Kavanka and Ash. But this battle for 9th now, it was a battle for 10th, and they get... pick up that spot over Woodstra, who had the issue.
And Ash, last lap, about 6/10 faster than Kabanka, so he's clearly the faster car of the 2. So probably only a matter of time until he can either force Kabanka into a mistake or can get past him through a pass.
So we'll add this battle to the other 2 that we have been watching, and that one is really tight right there. Just report that Noel is still ahead of Ross, Jimenez is still ahead of Sanfilippo. You might want to go up to Noel right now because they come out of the Casio triangle there. They were nose to tail. A good exit though from Thomas Noel as he drives away from Xavi Ross. Ross though has more straight line speed. Gathers him up. Boy, if Xavi can just stay close enough.
It's the story of this battle though. Noel always faster out of the turns than Ross, and then Ross wheels him in over the straights. Just the straights aren't long enough for the advantage. Noel pulls on Ross through the turns, so clearly Noel runs more downforce than Ross. And Ross is also obviously a little bit hurting because of the aero wash he's getting from Noel's car.
They work their way down into the hairpin, and you can see the gap that Noel opens up through the technical section. Misses the apex there a little bit. Now, this is the closest that Ross has been out of the hairpin that I've seen. He's got a shot maybe to force the issue down into Spoon. He's not going to get there in time. Let's see what type of drive he can get out of Spoon. If he can stay close enough, he needs a good exit here. This is pretty good.
Mistake from Noel there, way too wide through Spoon number 2, and Xavi Ross really on the back now.
This is the opportunity. You got to take it. He dives to the inside. They'll go side by side through 130R, and they're going to finish the job even before the chicane. So let's move Xavi Ross back up into a podium spot. Thomas Noel, I believe, passed for the first time today. Back into fourth.
And while this all was going on, I can report we don't need to go back to that. Kabanka made a mistake into the Kasi triangle, did outbrake himself a little bit. Ian Ash went past around the inside, and he's already pulled about 2 seconds on Kabanka. So really shows how much faster Ash can go without Christian ahead of him.
2 laps to go, and I think The order is set. I don't think anyone's going to make a pass between now and the checkered flag. Benefield, Poveda, and Ross looking to be your podium finish. Noel trying the best he can to get back up on the back of Ross, but I think Ross is going to drive away. The other one here is the one we've been watching. This is Marco Sanfilippo. If you're going to make a move, you better make it soon, Marco. Jimenez gets a good exit out of the hairpin and again drives away. I think this is a case where Sanfilippo is faster during the technical sections, and that's what keeps him close, but it's hard to make a pass there. Jimenez is good in straight line speed and can just keep pulling away every time they get to this. You can see that Sanfilippo was not able to close up at all as they head down into the chicane. Meanwhile, our leader has taken the white flag. Let's head down into the hairpin.
Now, you made a bold statement just a lap ago, and Marcos Sanfilippo, he tries to prove you wrong as he's closing in on Kevin Jimenez yet again.
That battle for fifth position now works its way through the snake. Our leader out of Spoon, heading down into 130R. We didn't have the camera on him a lot. Once he got to the lead, he was able to keep it. Just the chicane left in front of him before he gets to the checkered flag. Daniel Benefield, round 4 of the batteries not included 2019 spring season championship from Suzuka, gets the win. Antonio Poveda, about 5 seconds back, comes across in second.
And while Poveda went over the line, Marcos Sanfilippo made a mistake through the hairpin. A little bit of a Thunderfoot syndrome there out of it, and spins it, so that breaks up the battle between him and Kevin Jimenez.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained, and nothing lost in this case, as Ross gets third, Noel will get fourth. Kevin Jimenez comes across in fifth, and Marco Sanfilippo did all he could to try to get that sixth position, or fifth position, but he'll have to settle for sixth.
Thomas Noel a little bit unlucky there to not get rewarded with a third place in this race, starting from 12th to 4th. Still sounds very good though, the Austrian, the driver. Steady race, steady wins the race right there, and pretty much did win it.
All the other positions are pretty much safe, as drivers will just complete their final lap. So with the racing done here in Japan, we'll take a short break, but our broadcast isn't over. We'll come back to run down the finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Don't go far. You're watching GSRC on IESN. Streaming cyberspace into your place via the iRacing Esports Network. This is the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Batteries Not Included Round 4 event from Suzuka, where we saw Daniel Benefield pick up the win. He gridded in third, slowly worked his way to the front. Once he got there, he held it. Antonio Poveda started in second. That's where he will finish. Xavi Ross, our pole sitter, falls well down the order after a mistake, fights his way all the way back to that final podium spot. Thomas Knoll was clean for almost the entire race. One little mistake cost him a podium, as he will finish in fourth. Nevertheless, a good run since he's qualified in 12th. Kevin Jimenez was able to hold off Marco Sanfilippo as they go fifth and sixth. Danilo Sanfilippo in seventh. Tommy Anhola had several mistakes. He'll have to settle for an eighth position ahead of Ian Ass. And then in 10th spot, it is Christian Kabanka. Seventh.
Thomas Seeger, the negative story of the race, down in 11th place. That was your former point leader. Bruno Canavas in 12th position. Aaron Woodstra finishes in 13th position after beaching it on the grass, dividing the pit road from the racetrack on the very last lap. Kasi Almeida in 14th, first car pretty much second car not finishing the race today. Stewie White 15th from 5th, Lars Hang 16th, Tanner McCullough 17th, and Floris Bichar in 18th position.
And there you have it. All right, I have the pleasure of talking to the driver who finished in second position today, and that would be Antonio Poveda. Antonio, do you have a copy?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah, I got you. No, can you hear me? We're good.
Yeah.
Boy, it looked like we saw many a battle out on the racetrack, but it seemed like all of them were decided not from a pass, but from a mistake. Was the track hard to race today?
Exactly as you said. I made a mistake that cost, I don't know if the picture, because Daniel was really, really quick today, but the chance to fight for it. And it's really disappointing. This track is really hard. You have to be really, really concentrated to not do any mistakes at all. But yeah, it is sad, but it is what it is. And congratulations to Daniel and also my teammate who was in the battle too, and because of another mistake ended up having to go to the box. And well, at least we saved the race being to second and third.
It's got to be a little frustrating for you this season, because we saw you leading a race earlier in the season, and that one slipped away from you as well because of mistake.
Yeah, in fact, in Nürburgring, I don't know what happened. I think because my connection was a little bit wrong. Something weird happened because it wasn't like today that I know what happened, like what I did wrong. In that case, I went through that curve like 200 times that week, and never that happened. That didn't happen. But yeah, it's frustrating. But at least I'm still. I think I'm still in the lead of the championship, not of this particular champions, but the global championship of iRacing. So that's something. But yeah, I would like to be like competitive in both, not only the general iRacing and also in this Sunday's races.
Well, the good news over here is they do have the 4 drop races as well, so that'll give you a chance to throw away a couple of those bad finishes. Hey, congratulations on the podium. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks a lot.
Antonio Poveda, your second place finisher today. Stefan?
Yeah, we're, as you said, with Xavi Ross now, the teammate of Ortiz Poveda, who finished in third place. Xavi Ross did that. And Xavi, we saw also some mistakes from you. Did the hot temperature of the track play a role in that?
I don't know. I had a really great pace at the start of the race, but I don't know what happened. I went over the curve and the rear just blew out.
Yeah, it did look like you were beaching it a little bit, surfing it on the perp there. But anyway, still, third place, great finish there at the end with the battle against Thomas Knoll. Talk us through that battle with Knoll for that third position.
Yes, the third position, it's a shame, honestly, because I think I had the pace for battling for the victory. But yes, the final laps with Tommy was great, battling there and overtaking him on the fastest corner. But yes, it was a great race anyways.
Yeah, last question here before we let you go. Next week, Road America. How are you looking forward to that? Way different challenge than what we have here at Suzuka.
Um, on Road America, I am aiming to fix that mistakes I did today, but I think it's going to be a great week there.
Well, we're sure looking forward to seeing you at Road America yet again. So, yeah, thanks for talking with us, Xavier Ross. That was your third place finisher. Meanwhile, Soup is catching up with Erwin Woodstra, the unlucky 13th place finisher of today.
Erwin, you almost got to the end of the track. To the end of the race. I learned something that apparently you can beach the car on the little pit entrance, the grass leading into pit entrance.
Yeah, I learned that as well. That's not good to have. Lost me 2 positions.
Yeah, you just
It was fun to watch though. Like, to be honest, it was pretty fun to watch. Like, couldn't stop but laughing at myself for that it happened.
More seriously, during the race though, you were in some good battles. You started in 14th. You worked your way up. We're fighting for some good spots. But man, not so much even with you, but all race long, all the battles were decided by people spinning. It seemed like the track was really tough to race today.
Well, the cause of me spinning the first and second time wasn't actually because the track temp was too hot. It was because I hit a curb, and 50% of the time when you hit it, it would be fine and you would be able to continue, and the other times you would just spin like I did, and that's from that I got wing damage, made me a second a lap slower, and the car just felt unstable after that.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. You race out of the Benelux clubs. What's your country?
The Netherlands. Right now I don't drive for a team. I actually recently got fired out of one. But I decided to actually drop by because usually I think I do 1 race a season, which is pretty funny. I show up once and then, yeah, goodbye. No, but I'm trying to do more. It's a fun car. It's a fun series to drive. And being from the Netherlands, I'm aggressive and I want to make up spots.
Well, it was fun to watch a race. We do this broadcast every week, so check in on us as the weeks go by and see if you can show up for a few more before the season's over.
Will do.
All right, your 13th place finisher today, 12th place finisher, I guess, today as it was. Nope, I had it right, 13th, because he was unlucky because he beached the car, couldn't get to the end of the race. That'll do it for our broadcast. Let's go ahead and thank the people who made this possible. How about everybody in the Williams iRacing community, and especially Clayton McLeod for organizing the series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. On screen now are just some of the companies that provide the software and hardware GSRC uses to stream cyberspace into your place. Additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides the wonderful music. See the screen to how to get a hold of more of her great work. The batteries not included returns in 1 week. That'll be round 5 from Road America. Hey, that's going to be fun. GSRC and iRacing will be there. We hope that you join us. Next up on IESN will be Race Spots coverage of round 4 from the European region majors. Not sure if that's actually correct, but I send the text here. Says it starts 1 p.m. Eastern. Not sure if that was updated. Check in on ISN. Go to their YouTube page and you'll see what the next broadcast is. If you'd like more information about GSRC, visit us at the Global Sim Racing channel. We're also on social media, Twitter, GSR channel, Facebook, Global Sim Racing channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. All of the upcoming races for our other series are listed on your screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar so you don't miss a second here on the exciting action on GSRC. If you haven't done so yet, become a YouTube subscriber by heading over to our YouTube page and hitting that big red button. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, that would be Stefan, Sean, and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for watching as we saw Daniel Benefield pick up his first win of the season here, round 4 at Suzuka. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.